My name is Darren, and we are members of something called the International Business Structuring Association, or IBSA. Essentially, it's a network of professionals that serve clients, private clients, so families that are exposed to multiple jurisdictions and they're running businesses, entrepreneurs. So it's not just restricted to tax, even though we're going to talk about tax. It'll be like investment migration, IP lawyers, insolvency, just anything to do with what the family will go through as they cross borders. And with that, I'd like to introduce you to the panel. Jose, you're going to start from your side and introduce yourself.
Thanks everyone to join this, and thanks Darren and Stepper 80 also for our participation. I'm a tax partner in Squire Patton Boggs, based in the Madrid office. I do international tax, even though I could sound partly American. It's my mom's American, my dad's Spanish, and I'm actually probably the only one not talking about U.S. taxes here, but some of the additions around that, which is always great to hear. Everyone living outside of the UAE, like myself, is excited to come to a place where Texas is a friendly environment for Texas. So you got to stay away of our tax network around how the trends, the difficulties around kind of keeping the taxes low, and especially with the U.S. citizens. So happy to be here and try to contribute to this discussion.
My name is Jimmy Sexton. I'm the founder and CEO of Esquire Group. We provide international tax and wealth planning services to affluent multinational families and help them minimize their taxes and pass their wealth to the next generation in a tax efficient, organized manner.
My name is Vince Trong. I'm based here in Gate West with a company called GSD Capital. I'm from California. I'm an American CFP, so I do financial planning, financial modeling, asset management for clients, and I've been here 16 years now.
Do you have any words of advice for people who are spending time in Europe and maybe having real estate property there? Words of advice and caution.
Enjoy. Even with informal conversations here, we're talking about where you're going to, right? That's a classic discussing within the UAE. Where are you going to spend the summer, right? I'm going to France, I'm going to Spain, I'm going to Ibiza, or from here, Jimmy in Austria, right? And the only point is that there seems to be, I mean, being UAE tax resident, let's keep aside the US, but even if US and you have proper planning, it's really attractive from tax rates, right? The point is, and even from a US perspective, you noted that the world is getting complicated in taxes. It's just, as you said, there's a lot of politics around taxes. If you have approved measures which only benefit the rich, which rich is pretty much any entrepreneur being successful in a way, and then it's a trend, right? The fairness of taxation. You see the OECD is talking all about that. In a way, that has filtered into the aggressiveness of the tax authorities. And even where we see that there's changes within the UAE tax system, sometimes I see that they're being forced to do it in a way where they want to comply with the tax environment, but they don't need it, right? You don't need it. So you put the VAT, but it's small. You put a corporate income tax, but again, you see the French, the Spanish, the German, Austrian, Swedish, the tax authorities are looking to tax. And obviously when they know that a citizen or their locals are moving to a UAE, they're going to be tracking that down. And there's probably a misunderstanding that if you spend less than 183 days, you're fine, right? That's where I wanted to go. Everyone has the general understanding that 183-day rule. It's great. That doesn't apply. I won't be tax resident there. But then we have special rules that, especially where I said, where you don't get a treaty protection, you're much more exposed to. Again, in UK, if your spouse lives there, there's certain domicile, you have a 90-day rule. In Spain, someone was saying, Spain and Italy, we have the economic interest rule. If you have a strong shareholding in 2 houses there, and that's your main property, you can be attracted to that. We have this rule of what we call the sporadic absences. I'm tired of discussing people that say, I'm really not resident anywhere. I spend 90 days, right? And it's a beautiful world. I even have people that live in boats, right? But you say, I spend 90, 100 days in the UAE, but then it's saying, I spend 90 days in UK, I spend 100 days in France, or 60 days in France, and 45 in Spain, US, and then it's like, no, it's okay. I choose where I'm resident. And obviously you have those countries that I told you. So be careful with the date count on how it works, because you can be triggered with a tax resident surprising. And I always say, I always throw the stick, what's the carrot in the stick, right? The Spanish and the European tax authorities are probably not as sophisticated as the authorities here, where they're tracking us down everywhere in a good way, protecting ourselves. There's a big case in Spain. Shakira was found tax resident through Instagram because they knew her hairdresser. It was every Friday in Barcelona. And I know everybody is going to say, "Oh, I'm not Shakira." Okay? They don't have that capacity. But it's the artificial intelligence. They're tracking us now.